Good day, my name is Matt. Welcome to my channel. This is Doom Comes to Willowford, Episode 5. Where we left off last episode, we had Connor right here having just transformed into a ghoul and standing up. Daisey is right here. Daisey had just been revealed that she has as well been turned into a ghoul. She's currently laying prone on the ground. Next to her is Sam, who is in a bit of a shock, having seen his dearly loved sister turned into a ghoul. Next to him is Willona, and behind them are Joseph, Hal, and Dagna, in that order. Let's jump right into this. We'll do initiative first, and the good guys win. All right. Willona is going to basically jump on top of Daisey and hold her down. Dagna is going to assist, probably grabbing her legs and keeping her from struggling. Sam he's still in a bit of shock. He's not going to do anything. Joseph immediately steps into action, and he is going to step over the commotion in the hall or around it. The hall's plenty wide enough, and he's going to attempt to strike Connor. 16. Connor has an AC of 13. I'm sorry, 13. That'll do it. Oh, we need to roll hit points for Connor. Let's do that first. I'm going to move this over a little bit. All right, these are hit points for Connor. 8 hit points for Connor. So he comes back as a ghoul, and he's actually tougher than he was before. Joseph did 1 point of damage. Hal, if you remember, a couple episodes ago, used her only light spell. She has a dagger and a staff, so she is going to throw her dagger in an attempt to hit Connor the ghoul. 13, actually, that hits. Holy cow. All right, let's see, 3. So now he's down to 4. Not too shabby, guys. Not too shabby. All right. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assume Willona and Dagna. If you remember, Daisey was a small halfling. So I seriously doubt she probably has an 18 strength or something crazy like that. So Willona is going to kind of roll her over, push her head onto into the floor, hold her arms, and instruct Dagna, who, if you remember last episode, here found one of her piece of equipment, her rope. She is going to start tying Daisey's legs up, and then also her hands, and basically they're going to hog tie her. And at the same time, once they kind of get that done, they're going to take out a piece of cloth or something like that, and they're going to cinch it over her mouth so she can't bite or scream or howl, or at least it'll be muffled. And then they're going to get one of their small bags that they have, and they're going to put it over her head in an attempt to sort of quiet her or calm her down, because she won't be able to see her environment. And Connor gets to go now. Connor is going to attempt to hit Joseph. Oh, that sucks. That is a hit. That is a D6. Joseph has 5 hit points. Whew. I like that. Let's do more of that, please. All right. Back to initiative now. And Connor gets to go. Connor is going to attempt to strike Joseph. 11. He needed a 17. That is a miss. Joseph will attempt to return the favor. 18, that is a hit. Wow. Joseph, I know you're a bard, but dude, we need you to represent. Hal is going to step around the commotion. And actually, she's going to assist very quickly. She'll finish up with whatever they were doing, maybe tie the thing around her face or around her mouth, put the bag over her head. And at that time, Willona is going to step forward and confront Mr. Joseph, or not Joseph, Connor here. and she misses. All right. I'm going to roll right now for Sam. I'm going to roll his save to see if he kind of comes out of his shock. I think he will next round anyway. That's a little bit of time. But I'm going to see if he can kind of resolve his situation with his shock here. 3, he does not. So next round, Sam will kind of snap out of it, and then he can help with Daisy. All right, let's do initiative again. Connor. All right, Connor is going to attempt to strike Joseph again. 14. Joseph has a 17. Remember, he got that +2 shield last round, or last episode. So he misses. Joseph attempts to hit him and misses. Then Willona will attempt to strike him. That is a hit. We're going to roll a different die because, well, that red one hates us. 3. That is enough to take Connor down. Connor goes down. And at that point, that resolves combat. Following round, now that Connor is gone, Sam snaps out of it, and they will begin to extradite themselves from this. They're going to talk really quickly. They're going to attempt to carry her out. Sam is going to turn to Willona and basically say, like, you said she's not lost. What do you mean? Story development here as I'm playing. Before this episode, I had sort of decided that Willona was here on a religious crusade. If you remember, to the west of Burrowmore, hence the name, there is a swamp, but just beyond that, about, I think it's 2 or 3 hexes, there is a large amount of land that is flooded, swampy burrows that, because they've flooded, have opened, some of them, and now the dead walk around. So she's actually come here with the intent of hunting some of these undead. Now, she just, by luck, happened to stumble into this one in our band. However, I also assumed that she's not an idiot. She has a +1 wisdom, so she's pretty common sense wise. She's pretty smart. So I sort of decided beforehand that she has some knowledge of undead, because if she's going on a crusade, hopefully she had a mentor that taught her some things. And because of this story, I decided to make the decision that she knows of a way that we can, I'm going to call it, suspend the transformation. She's already a ghoul per se by very generic white box rules, but I think there might be a way to do more. So Willona knows a way that we can basically pause everything to allow us a little bit more time to hopefully save Daisy. They are going to start to extricate themselves from this dungeon. I'm going to roll one thing here. All right, so they managed to get out without encountering anything. So they're going to make their way back through here. So the band comes up out of the ruins, which are right here. They had asked the gentleman that ferried them across, remember they had rented a boat to kind of stay in the area for when they came out. They were hoping that they wouldn't be in there very long. So let's see if he's around this area. I'm going to say a 3 in 6 chance. All right, so he happens to be, maybe he's over here fishing or something, because this is a town full of fishermen. And they're going to yell at him, wave him down, whatever. He's going to come over, and they are going to put Daisy tied up on the boat, which I'm sure this halfling is probably a little like, WTF, guys. What is this? And I'm sure she's struggling, but I'm just going to assume that she is subdued. There's 5 of them with ropes. I think they have her subdued enough that she's not dangerous and they can kind of control the situation. Sorry, I just saw that. Oh, jeez, this is over here. And they are going to start making their way back. Sam has a bit of inspiration. One of the things that I've been working on is this little handy booklet here. I'm going to move this up. And eventually this will be available on my blog. But one of the locations, you can see I did a great stapling job there. One of the locations down here, that is Brunhilde's hovel. I'll give you a little flip through this, a little peek here of what I got going on. This is a test copy, so it's on very thin, crappy paper. All right, Brunhilde's hovel. She is a halfling, what I, for lack of a better term, druid. She sort of lives out on her own, away from the village, so she's very self-sustainable and independent. But she is quite knowledgeable. Let me find it in here. Healing arts, herbalism, alchemical arts, and botany. So, look, there's my little band. You can see my little band in the back. Oh, I need to add that now. Huh? Anyway, that'll be available eventually. Anyway, Sam, having been from here, if anybody in town, he knows if anybody in town would be open to helping him, it would probably be Brunhilde. So he is going to ask the ferry guy to funnel them through the town using the bay and the stream so that they can get as close as they can to there, probably disembark before the mill and walk their way up here. As they are doing that, they are suddenly interrupted by a horrible scream coming from the ruins. And they turn around and they see a ghoul, obviously a female, but very desiccated, very old, very dry, crusty looking. She comes to the edge here, to the edge of the island, the edge of the water, and lets out this horrible scream. And from the scream, it's obviously anger, frustration, basic unhappiness, and it's directed at them. But it's cut short. Mid-howl, she stops. She twists her head, kind of like a dog, as if listening to something. And then she turns to the north and walks to the edge of this island, never looking back at them, as if she's completely focused. And she walks to the edge of this water here and stops a moment. Now, all this time, we're floating back this way. We're not getting any closer to that crazy shit. And the party is watching. And then suddenly this ghoul just walks straight into the water, just without hesitation. Disappears into Willow Lake. The party will continue back on this way. They'll be able to do this unmolested because this is a fishing town. People are moving around in boats all the time. They're going to get to here, and then they are going to attempt to make it over to Brunhilde's hovel here. I'm going to roll a d6 for an encounter just to see if, the town does have a guard and a standing militia and a group of people pulling a tied up person out of a boat in the middle of the day would probably raise awareness and draw attention. So I'm going to roll just to see if somebody in town or maybe even the town guard sees something going on. So a 1 and 6. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so they are able to get her off the boat unseen and start moving in this way. Now, of course, the ferry operator will probably, this is a small town. If you've ever been in a small town, everybody talks. Everybody knows everybody's business. But if they can get this handled before rumors spread too much, maybe that'll be okay. We'll deal with that if we come to it. They get here to Brunhilde's hovel. I'm going to open this up just so that we have the picture of Brunhilde here. I will probably also put it up on the video. Hold on. Let's do this. I will put it right there. I'll put a picture of Brunhilde right there. They enter, or they come up to her home, and they are going to knock on the door. we're going to do a basic encounter roll here. My little doohickey. All right. So this is what we need here. And I'm going to give Sam a +2 because he's from here. They clearly probably would have known each other. Well, wait, let's do this first. Let's use my oracle. You know I love using my damn oracle. So Sam is from here. So they know each other. They've probably spoken. Let's see what kind of relationship Sam has with Brunhilde. All right? So positive, negative. You know what? I'm just going to roll straight. I'm not even going to use this one. So red is negative, blue is positive. All right, so I'm going to rule that yes, they have a decent relationship, and I'm going to give him a +1 on this roll. So we'll use the reaction check. So he's going to knock on the door. Brunhilde is going to come to the door, and in front of her door are 5 band members, probably holding a tied up person that's squirming, and Sam is just going to look at her with pleading eyes. He's going to do the Puss in Boots, big droopy eyes, and say, "Please help us." All right, +1 to this roll. Oh wow, so that is a 12. Ooh, that's a good roll. All right, she actually steps through the threshold of the door, holding the door open, looks at each one of them, sees the struggling figure of Daisy tied up, and then she looks past them to look out beyond, the area around them, and then holds the door and says, "Come, come, come, my children." And they all come into her little home. All right, so this is the idea that I kind of came up with off camera before I started filming this episode. I had decided that Willona had heard of a process where a recently turned ghoul could be submerged fully into holy water, and it would essentially put them in act like a stasis tube from science fiction. It would incapacitate them, also stop any ghouls typically will serve a master or something like that. Usually guardians of a tomb, that kind of thing. And being submerged fully in holy water will prevent any of those communications coming from the master. Sort of act like the holy water will not only act as a stasis, but also as a barrier to any of those sort of commands and things like that. What they're going to do first is they're going to get Willona into her home, and they're going to figure out a better way to tie her down. Maybe they tie her up and then they tie her to something, maybe a chair or a bed or something like that. And then they're going to brainstorm for a little bit on what to do. Does Willona know this will work? No, but she's read about it. And since she is the only one in the group with any sort of experience with undead, the rest of the group is going to take that as gospel and run with it. So the first thing they need to do is figure out a way, some sort of container that they can fill with holy water. I am going to adjudicate the rule right now that Willona will be able to create holy water. However, to do so, she of course will need a water source, which shouldn't be too hard to fathom in this little area. But also, the only holy site in this area is Saint Siona's altar, which is right here, which is number 10 in my little book. You can see there's Saint Siona right there. She looked like a nice, friendly lady. She's dead, of course. That's what she looked like when she's alive. She was considered an emissary of the halfling deity, the mother goddess. She lived in the village when it was first formed. Help them fight off lizardmen and undead, yada, yada, yada. But the only holy place in town is this site right here. And this site was actually built by the survivors. There's some story in there, but Saint Siona fought off some lizard men that were attacking the village. They were trying to get into a burrow or something like that, and she fought them off, ultimately being killed, but saved a whole bunch of children that were inside that burrow. And so later, years later, to mark their thanks for her, this is a standing stone with an altar in the middle. The children that she saved later erected that. And so, in my mind, that is a very holy site because these children that she saved by her selfless act, they built this in memory of her. It's the only holy spot in town. So the second part of that is we're going to need a container. I think the easiest container that probably would exist in this town will be a canoe or a small boat. So let's see if there is a suitable boat. I'm thinking like a small like kayak type thing, not like a big fishing boat, but like a one-man canoe or, and on top of that, a suitably halfling size. It's probably, what, this big? No. It's probably 4 feet long or something like that. I think one of those would be available in this town that they'll be able to swipe and nobody will be wiser. So we're going to roll that. And, ooh, wow. Interesting. Now, a little sidebar here. One of the comments, I don't remember who it was exactly, one of the comments that a viewer made about my oracle was if you rolled triples that you could cause a random event. I think, you know what? I like that idea. I think I'm going to use that. Just a little bit here. All right, you guys can see it. So this is Mythic GME. One of the tables I really like in it is this random event focus table. I think you guys can see that. I really like it. I think it's a great tool. I do not like the fact that it uses percentile dice, but there you go. You can't have everything, right? So we rolled a random event, checking to see if there was a boat handy. We're going to roll on this and see what we get. Oh, a remote event. I mean, that's pretty definitive. You know what? I know what's happening. And we're going to table that. That is a remote event. And what that means is an event happens in the world that doesn't necessarily impact this scene that we're in or even have an effect on this scene, but is an event that has implications for the game somewhere else in the world. So I'm going to say they find their boat that they need. They are going to fill it up with enough water that they can submerge her in it. And they'll probably fill it up down here in the stream or whatever and bring it up here. Then Willona is going to start the blessing. And I am going to make a ruling here because this is old school and we like to make rulings that make sense at the time. I am going to make the ruling that Willona, being in this holy place, is going to be able to create holy water. I think typically in D&D lore, it needs to be like an 8th level person or something, but you know what? F that. So while she's doing that, the rest of the band is going to go down. We'll assume it takes a while. You got to call them blessings and gods wake up and, shoot their lightning bolts down there and make holy water or whatever. The rest of the band is going to go back to Brunhilde's, and they are going to bring her up. I am going to say at this time also that Brunhilde is going to use her herbal, botany, alchemical knowledge to assist in making the holy water, but also maybe she makes some sort of salve that they put all over Daisey's body that will prevent it from rotting more, that will ease pain and maybe scarring. Maybe they give her a face mask because she doesn't want to wake up and be ugly Daisy, right? So she assists in that way. They bring the body up and they're going to place her in it. And I'm going to do one thing, which is very dangerous. We are going to roll a saving throw for Willona. And I am actually going to kind of rules on the fly here. I'm going to use a d6. Willona is going to make a saving throw. She needs to make a 15. This is her saving throw because she is in a very holy site, doing something holy, doing a good deed, which falls in line with Siona's, sphere of influence. She saved children. She was about agriculture and healing and birth and life. And her sphere was all about fighting against undead and evil and rot and unlife. So I'm going to roll these, and this is we'll add them together. The total will be hopefully enough that Willona will make her save. All right. Whoa. We needed a 15 and we got exactly a 15. So, wow. All right. So they are able to make this little contraption and put Daisy in it. And they put her in it and she's struggling and everything. And and she's like grunting. As soon as they put her in it, that all stops. They completely submerge her. Maybe they get, because she's a ghoul, she doesn't need to breathe, remember. They get some rocks and put it on her chest or whatever to hold her down inside this water in this very holy spot. And she stops moving. They deem that they are successful. All right, we're going to stop right there. This is episode 5. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back for more.